when you see that we're doing something, you know, to whatever it is, we're gonna go pick up trash in the trail, or we're gonna do a blood drive, or we're gonna do a happy hour, or we're gonna do trivia night. You know, challenge you to try to make time, make it a priority to be there. I understand, I get it. You know, everybody's got personal lives and there's things that conflict, but you know, give yourself an opportunity to enhance your working environment. You know, you get to know people, have fun with people that you work with. It's unique, and also, well, you know, we're paying for it. You know, so take advantage of it. Take advantage of these opportunities, and with these community you know, activities. I mean, yes, you're coming and working and getting to know all of the people that you work with and giving back. But when you go home, it feels pretty darn good. You know, it feels pretty darn good when you see a kid smile, or you realize that you're probably, you know, helping improve a natural resource of our local community. You know, it gives you a really good sense of accomplishment, and it's worth it. But moving forward, this is still going to be a big focus. I think it helps us be better, a better group, a better team, and it also creates an environment where we are highly regarded in the community. So, okay, let's give a round of applause. We're not getting enough clap. And always depend on Monica for that. Okay, so one more area I want to touch on. When we, I mean, this isn't just an idea that occurred in 2017, but it's certainly one that's existed for a very, very long time. But as we have become much less of a business and much more of a company, it's taken a much professional, much more structured, much more structured approach. You know, the one thing that's important is that everybody here and everybody that's not here that works for Prism, you know, we want them to like working at Prism. You know, I think that this is a special place that offers a lot of opportunity. It offers a great chance to give, you know, to help people, which a lot of you like to do and do every day. But you know, it continues to be a high priority to make this a better place to work. Okay, and part of what we did in 2017 for the first time was we asked you. You know, we asked you, you know, what kind of things do you like about Prism? What kind of things would you like to see happen at Prism? And we did that via, you know, a survey. And, you know, to be honest, you know, I'll just be honest with you, it's not necessarily something that I was hesitant to do, right? I was hesitant to do because, you know, when I take a survey, to be honest with you, it's like, you know, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. It's kind of the way that it rolls with me. It is, well, I'm all right. So, but nonetheless, through, you know, I trusted the group and the girls in HR and everybody thought in the strategic planning committee, everybody was supporting it, so let's roll with it and see what happens. To be honest with you, I mean, first of all, I'll say thank you, right? I mean, because we had a fantastic response. I think it was something like over 130 responses, and you know, it doesn't happen much around here, just for the record, but I was wrong. Because there were some great responses. You know, it was amazing to see how many of you took the time to, you know, think critically about the things that we have here, and give your opinions about things that, you know, we might be able to do better. Good news, you know, the good news is that most everybody said that they like their job, so I was pretty pleased about that. But there was a lot of information. And it took a lot of conversations. We've been having constant conversations about these things because continuing to develop the quality of our employment here is I mean, clearly it's a high priority. You know, we need to gain another 50 employees in 2018. So we need to continue to stay focused on this. But, you know, the big question is where do we start with all this? There's great feedback, a lot of ideas. You know, what do we do? And I am sorry to say that we're probably going to save things like, you know, nap pods and staff masseuses for a little bit later. Now, I am a never say never type of guy, and I will say that right now. But those probably aren't the things that we're going to be focusing on right away. Okay? So what we tried to do is, you know, find areas we have in common, areas that we felt, you know, we had the most people weighing in on, and the most area, the biggest piece that we could attack right away, and we started there. And I want to go over what I think what really came out as the top two, and talk to you a little bit about our focus, a little bit about how we're going to address them, and the things that already are in motion to make sure that we concentrate on improving them. The first thing that really came through out of this was about communication, right? Communication was something that, I mean, many of the handwritten responses were very clear that, it's a place that we need to improve. I didn't know, I could have known before, I think I should have known, it would have been better if I'd known. All these things were common types of responses, and I get it. I think the first thing that I continue to ask everybody is that, we have 50 more people in this room than we did this time last year, right? So we are continuing, we are growing like crazy people-wise. So I anticipated that this would be something that everybody identifies as a challenge, because I see it. It would be something that I would have written on a survey. So we hear you. We've got to get better at communication. So there's a couple things. There's a couple things that we have to do, right? The first thing is that for the last 2 years, this is also something that we've also kind of known. Most of you who have been here the last 2 years have been through comm training with your managers, and it's things that we've been trying to make more relevant and talk more about. But obviously, we need to improve. So the first thing is you're going to see in comm training, it's going to change. We're going to change it altogether. Comm is going to be more focused and more pointed. You're probably going to get classes that are going to be instructed by myself or James or Lauren. We're going to have more structure, and it's going to be more pointed to what you do in your area of growth and development in the organization. There's a strong chance that we'll do them in larger groups. We'll maybe be back here. There may be 30 and 40 of us doing it, but we're going to hone in, and we're going to try to enrich and improve the way that we've been talking about communication training here at Prism. We have for 2 years now been publishing a monthly newsletter. The Full Spectrum is something that is really fantastic, and everybody does a great job with their submissions, and Lauren does a great job putting it together. And it has been kind of the vehicle for which we're hoping people get information that they may not get otherwise, right? It's clear that some of that's not resonating, so we're gonna change again. You guys are gonna see the Full Spectrum is gonna continue. However, it is gonna go to a quarterly newsletter, right? We're gonna move the Full Spectrum to a quarterly newsletter to make room for what we're calling the Prism Pulse. Okay? Our goal of the Prism Pulse is that we're gonna be a little more in your face. Next Tuesday, you're gonna see me walking around corporate campus here delivering our new newsletter. It's more of a flyer, right? It's going to be old school, paper form, right? I'm going to be handing it out. We're going to be handing it out to people, whoever. We're going to be random, right? There'll be some given to managers and some just handed out into the work areas and things like that. There's also going to be, and it's going to kind of hold the more. Some of it will be fun, but some of it will be extremely relevant. Things that you maybe wouldn't know otherwise. Things that you wouldn't know unless you went looking to find them, and things that might just be more of the fun fact type of information. But the goal is to keep you up to date with what's going on around, even though you can't see it, and also to get kind of back to the basics as far as communications go. There's going to be a limited amount of copies, right? So there may only be 20 or 25 of them printed. The concept there is I'm going to come in and I'm going to hand it to somebody and say, give it a read, and then pass it off. Right? You'll give it to another employee. You can talk about what you thought was cool or stupid or whatever, and then make sure it gets pinned up in the break room. Okay? So the concept there is that we want to make sure that we're getting some of this pertinent information in front of you, right in front of you, right? In paper, old school. It's easy to miss emails. I mean, how many people have missed an email? Right? Go ahead. Raise your hand. It's okay. It's okay. Lots of times, it's just not, in a small group like this, it's not necessarily always the best way to get information out. And we hear you. So we're going to try something new. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be something that's going to be kind of cool. The last thing, and this is the challenge. This is the challenge that I have for you. And I include myself in this and everybody in this. We've got to understand that communication is a process, right? The biggest lesson that we can teach about communication is it is a process. It is a process that usually includes two parties, right? There's a provider and there's an audience. And lots of times in communication, that switches quickly, okay? This is something that everybody has to commit to being better communicators. And sometimes communication means you gotta ask for it, right? If you feel like you don't know something, you want to know something, I mean, you know, need to know, curiosity, there's, you know, ask questions. And these are things that we start talking about from the day that you walked in here. You know, this is an environment that we welcome questions. You know, we welcome it. And we need to, and that also includes patience, right? We need to be patient. We need to have understanding of our environment, and we need to know that everybody's trying to get better. It doesn't mean that they're there already. We're not perfect. I don't expect any of you to be perfect, and I mean, I'm certainly not perfect. I'm probably far more imperfect than anybody in here, but the truth is that we need to understand it is a process, and it's a process that takes everybody working together, even the people trying to communicate, working together to be better at it. So, you know, don't think of it as Prism communicating with you. You know, we communicate together, right? We all communicate together. And if you feel like you're missing information, for love, go find it, right? Go find it. If there's something that you're curious about, you feel like you should be in the loop on, you know, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you do here, right? You're certainly entitled to ask the question. You're certainly entitled to be curious. You're certainly entitled to, you know, knock on a manager's door, knock on my door, right? Because I want all of you to feel like you can be empowered with the things that are happening in this organization. And I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult. I'm guilty of it. Things happen so fast sometimes, and we have to make decisions so quick. It's easily neglected of how it is that you're gonna get this message out, right? And sometimes that's nobody's fault but circumstance. But everybody's got their responsibility to try to be better communicators. And we as a company, we're definitely gonna try to train better, that's for sure. This is where you give me a round of applause so you can What's that? No, Lofgren forgot the teleprompter.
The ad-lib it, man.
All right. So communication was the first area. The next thing that really resonated, you know, from the employee survey feedback was the concept of, you know, development, right? Career pathways. What's next for me here at Prism? You know, what do I do from here? You know, I feel where I am, and I'm really wondering where I go next. Okay. You know, that was kind of the message that we took in. And again, I get it. There are very few areas of this organization, right, that I would consider to be maturely developed, right? There are very few departments that have, you know, lots and lots of people and lots of positions and easy pathways of how you get from point A to point B, right? Because we're still growing. I mean, you know, who knows? We started one new department this year, and the department starts with one person around here, still, to this day. You know, one person starts doing something, and then there's 2, and 3, and then, of course, you know, sometimes there gets to be 30 and 40 and 50, and that's when it gets easier to start to create these pathways and understand how we develop people. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be taking heed to these things. And there's a couple of things that we're changing that I want you guys to be aware about. First is really just our outlook on training development altogether. You know, about 2 months ago, I sat down with Monica and the training team and some leaders from client operations. You know, we've got to change. We've got to make wholesale change on how it is that how we train and move people down the career paths. Okay. And the biggest concept that came out of there is that, you know, I don't want to develop training anymore, right? I want to train to develop. I want to train to develop people. And what we're doing, historically, you know, some of our challenges, particularly here in 2017, poor Monica, you know, her back nearly broke the amount of weight she carried training. We ran 5 general trainings in 2017. You know, what we have to do is we have to create an environment to train more people faster. Okay, because we did a great job bringing in new employees, and general training is great. You know, but we've got people that come in and sometimes master skills, get good, and then they're kind of sitting there waiting. Okay, where am I going next? Right, well, we're not going to offer advanced training till whenever, you know. And this is a problem, you know. I mean, it's a problem that we have because of the nature of our growth, but it's a problem that we have to address. So what I can promise you is you're going to be hearing words like this. Startup. General training is no longer. Now we have startup. And we have, who are all of our new people in startup? Raise your hands. There they are. All of them. All right. Welcome. You're going to see what happens next. And the concept there is that they're not going to be, historically, general training has lasted 2 weeks. You're going to see them on the floor faster. Right? So those of you who are out there, you know, struggling now at the beginning of the year, you know, the help's coming faster. And at that point in time, we're going to start pacing development. Right? The next step is going to be just be, and then move on. There's going to be more segmented training, right? Non-linear training that matches the development of you. So when you're ready, we're going to be ready. And if you're not, that's okay too, because we're going to offer the same class again, right? Not too long from now. Same thing is happening with what was historically advanced training, right? You're going to hear now the word PIC. And we are completely revolutionizing the way that we're going to address, you know, our training towards, you know, difficult commercial insurances. Again, in the same manner, you know, non-linear. There's going to be much less of this long class time, much more of a shorter amount of class time, and more getting your hands dirty. You know, active learning. Active learning was another thing that was on the survey. People like to learn by doing. We're going to try to make that happen. So here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that I have to you. There's something that's out there. I don't know if everybody's seen. It's the Prism class calendar, right? If you guys haven't seen the Prism class calendar, you need to dial in. It's pretty cool, first of all. And Courtney and Monica have done a great job, you know, getting it up and running. But it is the key to understanding the future of educating and training yourself here at Prism, right? I think training is going to be a conversation between you and your supervisor, but you also are going to have the ability to say, hey, you know, I see that they're teaching, this class is being taught over here at this time. Hey, boss, would it be okay if I went? I feel like I could brush up there. Absolutely. Get a ticket. Sign up. You know, we're literally going to, by the end of 2018, be running a full-fledged educational institution out of CR2, I can promise you, right? But we need students. And just because, you know, there's going to be prescribed paths, you know, we really want you to get to this point next, you know, but they're doing, you know, move on starts next week, I'd really like to see you be ready, right? But if you're somebody who feels like that maybe they could use that to get better, it's going to be open to you. Right? But you're going to need a ticket, and all those are sold on the class calendar. So get, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, log on. It's on, you know, the Prism website where you would access the newsletter. Get on there, see how it works, make sure you understand it, because it's going to be the wave of the future in terms of getting yourself and giving you some control and how quickly, you know, you move through the things that you need to learn here at Prism. And by doing all of this, right, we're finally going to get the opportunity to, you know, widen our berth in the world of training and developing. One thing that we have, you know, client operations has for a very, very long time consumed, you know, much of our training bandwidth, right? And it has for years been goals for us to make sure that, you know, we're giving plenty of time and plenty of organization to billing, even our remote logistics departments. Because they haven't been getting the attention that they deserve. Not anything against client operations, but you are our biggest area of recruitment and our busiest area, so that's why. But you know, the goal here is that we're gonna expand. There's more coming. So for those of you who aren't in some of those areas that have demanded the focus of training historically, that's going to change, and opportunities are going to be there. So keep an eye out for those. the concept is in terms of career path and paths and developments and however you want to define it, right?